Welcome back to Edgework, presented by FanDuel as part of the Hammer Betting Network. I am your new host today. As we said goodbye to Zach last week, unfortunately, I'm your new host today, joined here by Matt LAber this morning to help break down tonight's games, give out some best bets, answer some questions from the chat, and probably some Rangers Habs talk is going to happen this morning as well.
Nope.
I would say so. Before we get into that, let's just get some housekeeping out of the way here so I can get this done with. As you know, the NHL is back and FanDuel is bringing you more action than ever because everyone knows hockey just hits different. Load up Power Play with the hottest same-game parlays found on the Parlay Hub. Lace them up and follow your bets with player prop tracking or bet on the fly with the Pulse. The hunt for the cup starts here. Get more from the NHL with FanDuel, North America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can kick off the season with $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Just place any $5 bet and you'll get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Disclaimer, please play responsibly. You must be 19 plus and physically located in Ontario. Gambling problem, call 1-866-531-2600. That's 1-866-531-2600 or visit connectsontario.ca.
Did you practice that ad read in front of the bathroom mirror this morning?
You know what? I actually I practiced the intro a little bit, but I didn't practice the ad read. I just pulled that up about 5 minutes ago. Honestly, I'm kind of pissed off at Zach because he set such a high bar in this. Like, if it was Jason, you know what I mean? Then whatever, it wouldn't even matter. But yeah, this is tough shoes to fill. But nonetheless, thankfully, the Habs gave us something good to talk about this morning. Otherwise, we might not have.
I was going to talk about
on this show.
I thought we were going to talk about the Edgework poll.
Yeah, maybe.
And you winning the poll for the new host here. I think that's a much better conversation topic here than some game last night.
There's nothing to talk about there. It happened. The poll's done, and I got Seward into doing this role, and now here we are. I will say if we lost, I do want to talk a little bit about. It sucks that obviously it would have been nice to go back and forth with this with Zach, but the Leafs game as well on Saturday, Habs Leafs, and then if we lost that game and then went from that into losing the Rangers game last night, I basically would have spent the night at the bottom of the lake that's by my house.
Yeah,
it would have been really rough. I could not.
As far as that game Saturday, all I saw was 3-0 Habs. And the corner thing in the garden. And I saw that. And then I get out and I go to the bar and I see 7-3. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, honestly. So it was a little it was obviously discouraging to see. The thing that was discouraging for me was seeing how the Habs one bad bounce. They were up 3-0. And people talk about the Jack-Eye Reeves thing where Jack-Eye pointed at the scoreboard and that was the turning point for the game. That was not the turning point at all for the game. That happened late in the first period. Jack-Eye's never going to give up that fight. You're up 3-0. All these enforcers are clearly taught not to go in that situation. Don't give the team any chance to snatch momentum before the second period, which is obviously very understandable why he wouldn't give him that fight. He wasn't pointing at the scoreboard to be like, ha, it's 3-0. He's pointing at the scoreboard to be like, dude, it's 3-0. You know I'm not giving you this fight right now. Fuck off. That's basically what happened. Everyone blows that out of proportion. Who's pointing at the scoreboard now? That's not what that was about. Habs still came out in the start of that second period and were pretty dominant. Caulfield had a huge chance, a couple chances. Evans had a big chance. Wall stood on his head. It could have been 5-0, 6-0. And then Dvorak comes down, hits the crossbar. Puck takes a really weird bounce all the way back out to the neutral zone, sends McMahon in on a 2-on-1. He scores unassisted. That was the turning point of the game for me. That was where the Leafs had nothing up to that point. Game should have been over at that point. Should have been 5-0. At least, honestly, Wall was spectacular all game. And then Leafs get that goal, they get some momentum, and then the tides start to turn. For me, the discouraging part was how the Habs responded to giving up that goal because they spent so much time on this winning run where they've been down. Even last night against the Rangers, they were down 4 times. They kept battling back. It's you have to learn how to win in this league and protect leads. I think that's the toughest thing for a young team to do where they've been down so much over this 11, 12, 2-1, whatever it is run now where they've been able to battle back from 2-0 down, 1-0 down, constantly giving up the first goal. It's very different when you're at home and you're up 3-0 and you give up a goal and it's a very different feeling. We're okay, we have to not blow this now. Like that's very different than like our backs are against the wall. Let's just come out and let's battle back and let's start swinging. And they clearly showed that we cannot do that. They have a ways to go in that regard where something goes wrong, you have that lead, and they were not able to hold it on like whatsoever. It got ugly. Like, yeah, the Habs Wall made some insane saves in the third period too. But like that was when it was already like probably 5-3. I don't think he had a ton to do between the 3-1 to the 5-3. Wall didn't have a lot to do. And that was what was discouraging for me to see. But like Montembeault was also bad. It is what it is. Thankfully, they were able to come back and bounce back last night against the Rangers. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed that game.
I mean, I know we were talking about this on the side. Like, it was the third period for me that was just terrible. Like, I really didn't mind the first two periods. Man, the third was a mess. And like, without Quick playing out of his mind, like that game easily we could have allowed 7-8 goals last night, and like that would not have been very shocking. He was very good. I wasn't really a game that I thought we were going to win coming in. I know we kind of talked about like,
yeah,
I just didn't like that spot coming off of that travel and then the road back to back right away. I don't know. I don't really have an issue with the way that they've played lately. Like even last night, like I thought the first two periods, I thought we played pretty well. Overtime, I thought we were the better team. Like the third, we got pinned in, but it is what it is. I think getting 3 out of 4 there was pretty good all in all. They're definitely hitting some OT regression as of late. Like I think they went like the first 38 games and only one went to overtime all year. And now I think it's 5 out of 7 that have. So it's kind of nice seeing them at least pick up some of these loser points along the way. Even if that is the third one in the last week, I think that the Rangers have led a game with 5 minutes to go and only gotten 1 point. So like, I don't know. It's tough leaving those points on the table, but I think it's too early to kind of look at it and say like, oh my God, they gave Montreal 2 points or they gave Columbus a point. Like this is the end of the world.
It is.
They're playing well. Like all these teams that are kind of in front of them, they got lined up now. Like I know we got Ottawa tomorrow. That'll be a big one. They got Philly on Thursday. So I don't know. It's good to see them playing well lately, but you can still see the Rangers' main issue, which is they just struggle to like stop these flurries. Like even last night, how many times did the Habs have the puck in the Rangers zone where they had like 5-6 chances back to back?
Yeah.
And it's just like that's kind of their main issue still, is that they just struggle to kind of get out of those like periods of pressure because they are weak on the back end still. That is just like their issue in the end. They have been playing better lately, but it's still just you can only do so much when that's going to happen. And I think the difference between like past years and how this year's kind of going is in past years, okay, they can sustain that. Like they can get out of it. And when they get out of it, all the top players are going down and one shot they can score. And that was kind of the difference because like we've never been exactly the highest puck control team in the last 4 or 5 years, but they can do that. They'll take 5-6 chances kind of against them, and then they'll go back and they'll score on their one shot the other way. This year, they're not scoring on that one shot the other way. And you combine that with last night they were, especially kind of earlier on, but like that's kind of the issue. Is like, okay, if that tilts even just a little bit more the other way, where it's like, all right, now you're taking even another shot or two in a flurry and you're not scoring the other way. Now all of a sudden it looks like these stretches where it's like, how the hell are they even staying in these games? But no, they have been better. It's just it's hard to kind of see how long they're going to be able to continue to play well. I don't know, especially with the deadline coming up. Like I know there's a lot of disagreement over what the Rangers are going to do here. I think we pretty much just stay pat, personally, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. But yeah, Quick played well, deserved win 400. The rest of the team really didn't. That's about it.
It's going to be like this all like these daily. It's cool to see like sometimes where you see the standings every day, every morning on Twitter, like because there's so many teams and it's like it's so early for these standing checks. It's like cool. You're like, oh yeah, look at all these teams like 2 points apart. Then the next day it's all these teams 2 points apart, but it's a different team on top. Like there's honestly no point. We need to like just at this point, like all these teams are going to go through their ups and downs. Columbus is in a good stretch right now. They're going to go through a bad one. Ottawa is going to do the same thing. Like they've already done that. The Habs are going to do the same. All these teams are going to go up and down. It's going to be tight for most of these teams until the end. All you can do is just like do your as like these teams themselves, just do your best to play consistent hockey, because if you can avoid those like 0-6-2 stretches, I think you'll be pretty well positioned come like late March. Anyways, we can.
But that's kind of what it is, I think, with this, right? Like,
like that got me. I had to bring that up.
Hopefully, no one shoots at you on today too. That would be bad. So hopefully, your wife doesn't shoot at you for avoiding her to watch some sports last night. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with it too, right? It's like you got what, 8, 9 teams separated by 5 points or something like that at this point. Like, okay, you win 1 game, 2 games, you're gonna jump 4 teams. Like, okay, you lose 1 game, now you're gonna jump behind 4 teams. Like, all of these teams are gonna go on runs where they go 7-2-1. All of these teams are gonna have runs where they go 3-7 or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it is way too early to do the daily standings check. Like, I can't personally do it. It's meaningless. There's too much time left, but nah, it'll be interesting. I do think in the end, like, I know we talked about this a little bit last week. I think in the end, you kind of look at the wild card. I think it's 2 tiers. I think the top tier is like the Bruins, the Rangers, the Flyers. And I know I'm missing one other team that's totally blanking right now. And then that bottom tier, I just don't think it's going to be in there in the end, is Columbus, it's Montreal, it's Detroit, and it's Pittsburgh. And again, I think I'm missing one other team.
True. Habs in the bottom tier, eh?
Do you think they're okay? We can make a bet on the show here. How many points behind the last place wildcard team do you think the Habs finish? What do you think that over under is?
Under 4.5. I would, if you gave me 4.5, I would say under.
You think they're within? You think they're
within 4 points of the second wildcard spot by the end of the season? You can think about it if you want. You don't have to do it right now. We can talk about it at the end of the show. But yeah, as Hal says here, there are a lot of games.
I was thinking 5 to 6. That's not very far off. I think that's kind of fairish.
All right. Okay, let's get right into the first game.
We could do it for fun. We could do it just for the content.
Head to head?
I'm down for that. Yeah, I'm down for that.
That's the weirdest, maybe one of the weirdest bets I've ever made, but Habs under 4.5 points.
We don't have Zach here to like stop us from doing anything stupid anymore. So we just
this could honestly get off the rails. We might have to never talk hockey again aside from previewing the games. Otherwise, we're just gonna go on tangents.
Maybe this is exactly what we need to do from now on.
Yeah.
Maybe this is exactly what we need to do.
All right. I'm going to the first game. First game, Sharks Bruins. I'll let you lead us off here because I know you have a bet in this one.
Yeah, so it is dependent on us not getting Georgiev. I am totally done betting on anything under or Sharks with him. So that's I have to wait. I do like the Sharks, and there it goes. I just saw Askarov. Perfect. Minus 134 is a bit more expensive than I'd like. I see some minus 120, minus 125s. I like the Sharks on the puck line here. I think a lot of this too kind of goes to how we talk about the Bruins is like we trust that Swayman's going to give them a good effort, but I don't think any of us trust that the Bruins are going to score a lot of goals, even against the Sharks team that has trouble defending. I do think the number is a little bit too big here. I don't necessarily love the way the Bruins have been playing. And Askarov to Georgiev for me kind of locks this in. But yeah, and what I expect to be a pretty low event game here. It's obviously how the Bruins want to play, like even against the Sharks. Like I don't think they're like, okay, we want to get into a run and gun game with all these kind of young, talented players. I do like the Sharks on the puck line here.
So I want to see who starts for Boston here. Like I was really hoping we would get a Georgiev Korpisalo and we could bet an over because both these teams have been funnels defensively. Like they're giving up tons. Swayman's been unreal though, and like honestly, like I think Askarov's great. It's puzzling that they haven't gone to him. Georgiev, granted, has been playing better. Like I understand that he has been playing a lot better over the last few games, but I think his numbers are his goal saved above expected, stuff like that is up just because of how much his Sharks team gives up. Like they give up so much on a nightly basis. It's honestly insane. But like, yeah, the Bruins are not playing well, but this is just such a bad Sharks team too. With Askarov in, like I understand the play. I haven't played anything myself, and I probably will stay away from this one.
No, I get that. So to the goalie point, right? Like I get why the Korpisalo thing may happen. I don't think it does because they're going right to a back-to-back Wednesday, Thursday. So if you do this, Korpisalo's playing 2 out of 3. And I just don't know if the Bruins are going to do that. So it definitely could happen. But
And
I don't
honestly, the
think
way
it's
they're playing right now, like Swayman is keeping them in games. That Tampa game, that Florida game, they had no business winning either of those games. Swayman was unreal in both of them. They basically need every point they can get right now. I think that they're comfortable, especially because Swayman got off to the slower start and they did play Korpisalo a lot early because of contract dispute. I think they are comfortable right now in their situation, kind of riding Swayman into the ground if they need to.
yeah.
Like their backs. I do think so.
Especially with the way he's been playing lately. I don't think they're looking for like, hey, we need a spot to kind of sit him down and rest a little bit. I think they're like, all right, like we can ride him here. He's already going to be sitting. I mean, if you look at the schedule, probably he's going to sit Thursday against Ottawa anyway. So it's like, yeah, I think in this spot, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I definitely think it's probably favored this way plays here.
Yeah. Okay. So you got Sharks plus 1.5. I got nothing there. Minnesota, Colorado is these. What's with these? Oh, it's MLK Day. Is that the thing?
MLK Day.
Is that what? Okay, gotcha. I was wondering why these.
So everybody with normal jobs is off today.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's not a thing here. We do not have that here. I don't think so.
Most normal jobs.
No, today's not a holiday. So okay, Minnesota, Colorado at FanDuel right now. Colorado minus 230. Minnesota plus 188. If my screen. And total of what is the total there? 6.5, 5.5. I see 6 here. 6 minus 128 on my odds screen.
It's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, I guess that's a flat goal line. But so this is like Minnesota's obviously being priced as a very kind of bad team right now. And I get it because again, like Kaprizov and Spurgeon didn't travel with the team this weekend, so they didn't play on Saturday. Not going to play tonight. It's been really tough sledding for them. I mean, the offense has struggled a lot without Kaprizov. We have seen Colorado kind of slip up defensively a little bit, but I think that's largely down to their recent schedule. They played some really good teams, some really good offensive teams. Minnesota is very much not that without Kaprizov. I know Favor's back, but again, no Spurgeon. He contributes a bunch of both ends. Blackwood got some rest over the weekend. I would expect him to be pretty sharp here. Same with Gustafsson, who's been off since Wednesday. Like, yeah, these teams played just under 2 weeks ago. It was a really low event game. It did go over the total. I did bet the under in that. I think it finished 6-1. That was not a 6-1 game though. Like Gustafsson was brutal there. As long as he doesn't have a blow up game here, I think we should be good on this total. An under at 6. And I know the over is just kind of taking some money at Penny. It was kind of bet. The under took some money, and I was with that this morning, and now it's been bet right back. So I don't know. That's kind of the only chalk that's really moved, though. Everyone else is kind of like stood circa leaning heavily towards the under here as well. Anyway, that's what I'm on. I'm on under 6. I think, if you can get like a minus 110-ish or better. Don't love minus 115. I would do it. I would still bet it at that price, but if you shop around, you will find better.
Yeah,
so
I
under
think
6 for
enough.
me. Yeah,
I think there's enough.
Do you agree with this one or what?
Etc. Yeah, I'm on board here completely. I've been on wild unders a lot of the year. I know you've been on the Avs unders a lot of the year. I don't want to say throughout the game Saturday night, but it was very clear, especially kind of with who the Wild were missing. Like, I'm not even going to attempt to say the guy's name on Nashville, but they were more concerned with kind of getting retribution on him and turning it into a fight night than they were playing hockey on Saturday.
It's okay to pronounce names wrong. We do it all the time on this show. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, but you pronounce guys' names wrong, like Kaprizov and like guys that are actually easy to say. You could give me 100 tries, and I'm not getting this Nashville guy's name pronounced correctly. But yeah, no, I like the under here too. I don't expect that we're going to get sewered by goaltending by Gustafsson again if it is in fact him. So yeah, no, I'm good. We can lock that in as a double.
All right, double best bet under 6. Shop around for that one. You'll find some pretty decent numbers out there. Okay, I think now Buffalo, Seattle. I think there are some differing opinions on this game. I will let you lead this one off.
So I think Buffalo's been getting more respect in the market lately that I don't necessarily agree with. Minus 126. Okay, maybe not at this point. I was going to say I'd like to look Seattle. I was seeing like minus 115-ish earlier. minus 126, I wouldn't. I just don't know why. Like, even on Friday, kind of so money and I were looking at this game, and I know he and I disagreed on it. That I didn't think Buffalo should be laying like minus 130, minus 130s. I don't really get this newfound respect. Maybe I'm off on something. So at this point, like, I'm not going to bet Seattle. I definitely kind of lean that way. But I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. So, like, definitely tell me if I am. But I think Buffalo's been getting too much respect lately.
So I think Seattle sucks. I flat out, I think they're a garbage team. Like both teams, I get that both teams
so
are
money says they are, though. They're very like matchup dependent.
I don't even know that that's the case because like they're still I know they're getting results, but like they're getting caved in most nights. Decord has been really good. I still don't like what I'm seeing from this team at all. Like I think this is genuinely a bad hockey team. The Sabres have been playing pretty well despite like a tough schedule, even in the losses. The issue for me is that I don't think we're going to get a UPL game. He started a number of games in a row. Like I think he started 5 in a row. This would be his 6th, which would be a season high. I don't expect that to be the case. Oh, and Rob's saying there in the chat, there we go, UPL out. It's very hard for me to host here and to find out with this goalie news. So if the chat can keep updating us on stuff like that, that would be very much appreciated. So that's my hesitation here. I know Levi was called up and he's been a lot better in the AHL. He's kind of maybe rediscovered his confidence, but like that being said, I can't trust him here. I also don't know if Decord's going to play either today, though. Like, that's the thing. He's just very recently back from injury. He started 3 games in a row. I don't know that they want to, like, wear him out right now. So I can't realistically do anything with this game until we know who's starting. If we do get Grubauer and, like, Levi or Grubauer and Reimer, though, I will obliterate this over. I know, like, both teams cannot score and cannot generate a ton right now, and they are playing a little bit better defensively, but that's just a terrible goaltending matchup and just 2 bad teams that I don't think should be at 5.5. If this is Decord, though, like I can understand it at least. So it's tough because I do want to bet Buffalo conceptually because I think that the Seattle team is shit and I do want to fade them, but I just don't think we're gonna get like the goaltending news that we need to for me to do that. So I'm gonna end up on nothing here. Barring Grubauer start, which is not going to happen on the show, I don't think.
Yeah, and I definitely don't want that over. So I think we're going to end up on nothing here.
So you don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's Seattle minus 115 with like Decord and Levi. I'd like it, but this number's already kind of moved a little bit. So I'm cool laying off unless Buffalo does get hit here. But yeah, I'm definitely not on the under or on the over here. So nothing for me.
All right, we'll go to the next game. 6 o'clock Eastern time start. Vegas and St. Louis. Vegas minus 188 on FanDuel. St. Louis plus 155. I really should have the FanDuel screen. There we go. Thankfully, we still have a competent producer back there. Plus 104 on the under 5.5. Okay. You can find, I mean, honestly, so I'll start with this one. Plus 105, plus 104, 5.5. I don't even mind that. I would prefer the under 6 kind of minus 120s or even a little bit better that's out there. You can find better. I like it if you can find better. Or whatever, just whatever there is. Even plus money 5.5. I'm on this under. I like this under quite a bit. It has taken some money. It has run a bit. I think there's still room to go here. Last time the Blues played a team in the top 10, by the way, in points percentage was Minnesota on January 7th. They lost that game. That wasn't even a real game, though. Like, no Kaprizov, no Spurgeon, no Brodin, all that stuff. Realistically, the last time they stepped up and played a top team was December 20th. It's been very, very easy for them for about a month or so now. Underlying numbers have been good, but some mixed results. I don't trust any of this uptick in offense, especially not when they step up in class. When they step up, their numbers are very bad offensively. They cannot generate offense whatsoever. And they're able to sort of like muddy games up, though. Like against, we saw it against Florida, against Dallas, stuff like that. They turn those games into a bit of like a slog. I think this should be a very low event game. Vegas needs a little bit of a bounce back here. They have been very good defensively. They've just been like getting sewered by some bad goaltending. Like Samsonov's had 2 really bad starts lately. We will get Hill here. I feel pretty confident that we'll get Binnington here as well. Yeah, just everything stylistically, goaltending wise, all that sort of stuff. Shouts under to me. I really, really like this. This is probably my my favorite bet on the card today.
Yeah, I know we were talking about this one before we came in here too. This is kind of the first one that we agreed on, that we were both on. I agree. I'm on it as well. I think also like the 6 minus 120s and stuff like you're saying, like those are definitely good. I don't know if we're gonna get it, but like this Blues team right now, they've been playing bad teams for a while and kind of just been even treading water a little bit too. Like even kind of in that step down, like they have not been very good. So now kind of like if their schedule kind of gets a little bit tougher here going forward, I think they're going to take a big step back. That said, I think it's kind of already priced in. Like I was hoping maybe we'd see a bit of a discount here. It doesn't look like that's going to happen at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the under. I mean, we know how both these teams want to play. Like the Blues definitely don't want to trade chances. Even Vegas kind of wants to lock it down a little bit. So I definitely agree with the under 6 minus 120. Just kind of looking at the chat, man, he can't even stay away. It's great. It's funny to see that he can't even stay away. I think he's just here for us to talk about the Leafs in a little bit is really what it is. So I guess the pressure is going to get turned up on us.
I got a lot to say about that game. So,
oh, I'm sure you do.
Okay, so double best bet on the under here.
Yeah.
And speaking of the Leafs, that is the next game here. Leafs hosting the Lightning tonight. This is the prime game. Basically a pick 'em. Everywhere you look, minus 110, minus 110, total at 6, pretty much across the board. I do have a lot of thoughts on this one, and I do have a bet on this one. I will let you lead us off here, though.
I'll be honest, I don't have a lot of thoughts in this game, and I don't have a bet on this game. I'm just gonna let you go right to it. I don't have a whole lot of thoughts. I've been off on every time I want to back the Leafs. I've been wrong. I feel like every time I want to back the Lightning, I've been wrong. I'm gonna sit this one out. Kind of let you go.
Okay, so this is I'm on the Lightning tonight, and this is I feel like a prime spot to fade this Leafs team. Coming off that Saturday game, that looks like wow, this team scoring, they figured it out. That was an ugly game for the Leafs. It really, really was. That should have been a game that they were, again, like I talked about earlier, down 5-0, 6-0 earlier on. They were not. Wall kept them in it, and that has been a theme for this team pretty much all season, where you get largely outplayed. Oftentimes you're kind of getting caved in. No show for large chunks of the game. Elite goaltending keeps them in it. And then they get a little bit of a bounce or whatever, or some bad goaltending the other end to spark some momentum, some timely scoring, and they're winning games that maybe are not necessarily deserved. That works against bad teams or against mediocre teams or against, teams like the Habs that are not at this level. That does not work against teams like Tampa. That does not work against teams like Florida. I do not buy into this team fully. I still cannot get there. Even after this little, back-to-back wins, this sort of somewhat resurgence. The Devils game, that was a really good game for the Leafs. They played really well at 5-on-5. They dictated that game. They deserved to win that game before it got to overtime. That being said, maybe we can now not put as much stock in. Like, I don't think that means as much as it did a few days ago when you realize, oh, you know what? The Devils are actually just struggling quite a bit right now. They've lost their game. They do not have any confidence going. They cannot score goals. You can kind of chalk it up to that a little bit. Saturday game, they win 7-3. Very misleading final score, obviously. I'm not there on this Leafs team. I'm very, very high on this Tampa team still. I think Tampa's doing what they need to do to win games. I think they're a better team by a little bit of margin here. And I get that. I think they have a big goaltending edge, obviously with look at Vasilevsky and Wall, but Wall has been great. So that we need to potentially, maybe that's where I'm missing something here. Maybe I'm not adjusting enough for the fact that also the Leafs kind of have Vasilevsky's number and have had his number for a little bit. They can seem to score goals on him. Whether there's something to that or not, I don't know. Yes, I know, just completely sewering Zach when he's not here to defend his team. You know what?
So
That's
harsh.
I guess that's one of the small benefits right now. Just have the floor to just absolutely shit on this team. But no,
Yeah, he can't even talk
seriously,
back to you.
this isn't like just like a full plate of the Leafs. I'm also, we've talked about this, and somebody's talked about it and stuff. Very, very high on this Tampa team as well. I haven't seen enough from the Leafs to show me that like after a game like that they're gonna take positive momentum and run with it. They're still not playing well enough, in my opinion, at 5-on-5. Their power play is still not really going. I know they got a couple somewhat power play goals the other night. One of them came with like 1 second left, and then another one was like a little wrister from the point that was able to take some deflections or whatever. Somehow it got through. Yeah, I think this is a bit short. At this point, it's kind of been bet a little bit towards Tampa here, like based on where we were yesterday, but I'll still bet it up to like minus 115 here. So yeah, I know you don't have a play on this, but like, did you lean one way or the other, or you're just kind of, you think the price is fine?
I did lean to Tampa. I think the price is fine enough. Gun to my head, I'm playing Tampa. I think part of kind of what we're seeing with them as of late too is that they have definitely kind of been up for laying some of these stinkers against bad teams. Like we've seen them do that to Anaheim. We saw even Detroit the other night. They didn't play great. Like some of these games against lower teams, they're just not really showing up for. But when they have kind of stepped up, like it does seem like they are ready to go in these games against. I mean, we were on them against the Bruins last week, where that score did not match the game at all.
They
There,
dominated that game.
Like they played Carolina recently and looked pretty good. Like even against Jersey, like that game was a coin flip. So they're definitely kind of get like a game like this, like they will be ready for it. It just seems like it's kind of one of those things that we see with a lot of these older teams mid-season. Like Florida kind of went through it, where it's like, all right, it's hard to be mentally focused for 6 months straight. And you do see these lapses, particularly with these older teams, a lot of times where it's like, all right, it's just hard to get up for some of these games. And I know you can't really put that in the number too well, but like this is not one of those games. This is not one of those games that you look at and don't expect that they're going to be ready for. And when we have seen that they're ready for a game, they come out and they play really well. So I agree. I lean there. I slightly lean to the under, but I have not played anything, and I don't think I will play anything.
Yeah. I think a big thing for the Leafs right now is that they are actually kind of struggling to find their identity. Tampa knows what team they are. They know how they want to play. The Leafs, I don't think, are there yet under Berube. Like where they want it to be this chip and chase team, but like maybe we don't have the personnel for that. They tried to be like this full-on defensive team early in the year, and they were very, very good defensively early on. They did not give up anything, but it came at the expense of their offense. So they tried to open up things defensively to get the offense going a little bit, and then that helped a bit, but it kind of sewered their defensive numbers. Like I don't think they realize fully how they want to play right now, and luckily for them, the goaltending has been outstanding all season, no matter how they played. So like they haven't really, suffered the effects of that. But like at any point here, if the goaltending drops off, I think it could get ugly for a stretch. Now there's no signs that the goaltending will drop off necessarily, but that's just like long term. I think my outlook on this team is I think there should be a little bit of concern there. Okay. Columbus Islanders. This is maybe a bit of a wild number. Big game in the playoff race too, and for my Isles futures, which I have all but abandoned and given up hope on. Isles minus 172 on FanDuel, Columbus plus 142, total of 5.5. Where are you leaning here?
Definitely to Columbus. I know I'm nowhere near as high on the Isles as you are at this point, and that's probably part of it. Is there a more inconsistent team right now than the Islanders? Like they'll come out and they'll play a really good game or two, and so it's like I understand kind of what you see out of that front, but then they'll just turn around and just lay an absolute stinker. Where Columbus, like I think both of us, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think we tend to disagree with the take that so many had on Friday about like that they're going to hang around and that we kind of like them and want chances to bet on them. I openly want chances to fade Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
Man, this number's high. It's like I want to bet Columbus here, and I don't like them. I don't think they're that good. I think they're one of those teams that's going to drop out of the race. But why on earth the Isles laying minus 170 plus to anyone right now? Basically, like what have they really done to deserve that? I don't know. I could definitely get talked into playing the Jackets here. I have nothing on the total. I think it's fine. I don't get it. I'm not sure why the Isles are laying this price. So it's like, it's kind of one of those, like, I don't want to play the Jackets so badly that I'm not betting this number that I probably should. And I definitely think I should, but I'm probably going to end up doing it. It's like,
that's basically where I'm at here. The Isles are just way too erratic to like at the top of their range. They're a very good team. At the bottom of the range, though, they're a very bad team. And the issue for me is that they hit the top and they hit the bottom both with so much frequency that like you don't know what you're going to get on a night to night basis, that it makes it impossible for me to lay this number with the Isles tonight. Like just absolutely impossible. If you get the top of the range Isles, like, yes, they'll probably win this game, but like, I just have no confidence that we will. Columbus, yeah, I do agree. Columbus is a team that I do want to fade going forward, but like you can't force it either, right? Like I want to fade them, but like I'm not going to fade them with a minus 165, minus 170 Isles price. Like that's just not a situation that I'm stepping in front of.
And I think the market kind of agrees with us with kind of these prices that we're seeing.
Which is too bad.
We saw the Rangers laying minus 190 or something the other night. I think the Rangers were, and now we're seeing the Isles minus 170. So I think the market does agree that the Jackets are not good and it's a team that we should be looking to fade. But with that being in there, like there's not really a lot of these opportunities here. And it's like, I think it's crazy to say that this young Jackets team is actually more consistent than the Isles, but like you look at the Isles, right? Like they'll come out and they'll play Toronto and Boston and they'll play pretty well, and they'll play Utah and they'll play really well. And then they'll turn around and just lay stinkers back to back to Ottawa and Philly. It's like, I just have no idea what you're going to get night to night. So what it is, a team like, okay, maybe around the pick'em range, maybe that's a team you kind of look for when they're kind of in that role, like they were when they played Utah. I know you were on them that night, but like laying these, it's not a team that I want to lay a big number with. It's like, if you don't know if they're going to show up, like I'm not laying minus 170 with them. So it's definitely a very strong lead to Columbus. I'm not there yet. Is there any shot of it being Tarasov? I haven't looked, to be honest with you.
I don't know. I know Sorokin's confirmed. I'm pretty sure Sorokin's confirmed. Yeah, he is. I would think it's going to be Elvis, but if it's Elvis and Sorokin, like honestly, the way Columbus is, even then, like I understand why the under took money based on where it was priced after the Sorokin confirmation. Like that was basically all down to the Sorokin confirmation, I think. I still just like, I agree conceptually, but like the Isles are still prone to these like such blow up games defensively that I just still can't fully. And Columbus, like, look, Columbus doesn't generate a lot, but they can put the puck in the net. They have a lot of guys who can score goals. So, I really have no interest in betting this game. I do hope the Isles win for the sake of all my futures and for the sake of this playoff race. But like I could never do it at this price. It would have to be, just based on how erratic they are, it would have to be Columbus or nothing at this number.
You know what? Let's lock in a half unit just so we don't have full on regret.
I'm not.
Sorry, so I don't have full on regret.
All right,
I'll take the half unit.
LAber half unit on Columbus. Plus
looking at schedule, I agree.
45 plus 145. Good.
Yeah. Fuck it.
Yeah. Okay. Like I would expect them to take more money at one point, but like the market really hasn't loved them, and the Isles have been getting pretty consistent support in this market. So and yeah, like Rob says here, honestly, the market is somewhat dead today. It's almost eerie. Like you normally see the board has lit up a ton by now, and we talked in circles for 20 minutes at the beginning of the show and didn't miss out on any numbers. Did not really expect that. Okay.
Yeah, no one's running to play Carolina minus 300 today, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think Carolina did take some money though. No, not really.
Probably.
Pretty stagnant.
Probably.
It's been pretty stagnant. Okay, yeah. Well, we might as well go to that game right now. Carolina, Columbus. Obviously, Carolina big favorites here, minus 319. Chicago plus 255 at FanDuel. Total of the one thing with this hosting, I don't know how Zach did. Zach obviously had FanDuel up in the past, which I probably need to do. I have my on screen up and I'm looking at the FanDuel numbers, but like it shows me the flat lines, my on screen, where like it says FanDuel 6 over minus 104, under minus 122. But that's never the actual total on their main screen. So here we go. 5.5 over minus 138, under plus 112. I can lead us off here, I guess.
Sure.
I don't have much to say on this game, so I might as well just go through it quickly. The Canes do suffocate these teams. Like, they give up very little. But at the rate Chicago is giving up chances and goals right now, it makes it really tough for me to stomach their unders against teams that are capable of scoring like Carolina can. So that Nashville game I was on the under. I didn't think Nashville was a team that could take advantage of that. We did cash that one. I can't do it against teams like this where like they could easily give up 6 here. I don't think they'll generate much. I don't think they'll generate really anything here against Carolina. So like I just cannot do it with the potential for goals and how this could get silly. And I still don't have it's a big number, but like I still don't have appetite for Chicago even after they won and played well against Vegas. It was a deserving win on Saturday. Definitely a stronger performance than we've seen from them lately. Maybe they are like figuring things out a little bit. I don't think they are. I'm not getting in front of Carolina here. And then there is the Alex B. Smith special here. If you want to hop on the over 1.5 first period, I did see him tweeting about that the other day as well. They've cashed I don't know if Jordan has the numbers off the top of his head, but they have cashed I think a bunch of those in a row. But yeah, nothing for me in this game. How about you?
I genuinely could not care less about this game than I do. I agree. I think I'm the other way on the totals. I think I generally want to look for Blackhawks unders, but I don't think Carolina is the team I want to do it against just because they're going to be putting on constant pressure in this game, right? So it's like, I think when I kind of look at that, I think it's almost the teams that are like kind of go one and done with really good chances where it's like, all right, maybe your goalie can make a few big saves and kind of keep you in, but you're not going to be under consistent pressure. A team like Carolina that's going to be giving you consistent pressure for 60 minutes, like to me, those are the teams that are going to score a bunch of goals against Chicago. So
it's like I can't stomach the under in this spot, but I agree that it's under or nothing.
No,
like that
agree.
Was basically what I was getting at.
Yeah.
I do think though the one thing I think there's blow up potential and Carolina could score a bunch, but like the one thing I will say is that when they get up like 3-0, 4-1, something like that, like they don't just keep pouring it on and try and like
it's
not point night and it's like they just shut it down. Like we're on to the next game. And they're very capable of shutting it down and giving up nothing. It's not like it'll get wild and end-to-end. Like so they are capable of doing that. It honestly probably is like a decent bet, and I probably will end up regretting this one, but I haven't pulled the trigger and I don't think I will.
It's a good team to bet live unders on when they get up like 2 or 3 goals.
Yeah.
Because they can and they do lock it down against these lesser teams. But yeah, it's just like, again, this is another one that I'm pretty much reliant on a very good goaltending effort from whoever the Blackhawks put out to kind of cash us under. Is not something I necessarily want to do. I do think we're going to end up regretting it. Like this is going to be one of those games that Carolina's up like 3-0 after the second, and then it's just the Blackhawks have 4 shots in the third, and we're like, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah. I mean, also though, like probably Freddie's first game back, and we've talked about this on the show before too, how like betting on an under or betting on a team starting a goalie that has not played in as much time as Freddie has, that's also a little bit makes me a little uncomfortable too. Like he hasn't played.
Maybe that means we got to go with the Alex B special here. Maybe the Alex B special is the play. I mean, I did a few of those early in the year and I like them, so I do agree with that spot, with that like handicap.
Unofficial play in this game. Maybe I'll dabble too. Unofficial play
is the first period over 1.5.
First period over 1.5. Wow, we really do miss Zach. Okay, all right, Winnipeg.
Yeah,
Winnipeg,
we need Zach to keep this on the rails because we're going way off here.
All right, Winnipeg, Utah. Pull it up on FanDuel.
The under just took a little bit of money too.
Jets minus 162. Wow, the Jets have taken a lot of money then. Utah plus 134. Over 5.5 minus 120. Under minus 102. Where are you at in this one?
I don't like Utah, and it's clear the market doesn't either, based on this money that we're seeing on Winnipeg. At this point, there's no way in hell I'd bet Winnipeg. I think this number's kind of getting crazy unless we miss some news happening. I don't. Do you understand why the market likes them? I really don't.
Why they like Winnipeg?
Kind of watching them. No, why they like Utah. It seems like.
No.
like most days, it feels like the market has liked Utah. Not today. I think I misspoke before. Not today, but even just kind of recently, like it seems like maybe I'm wrong. Like Utah, it seems like has been getting market support a lot of these days. And I don't really get that. So I definitely agree with the Winnipeg money. At no point am I really considering betting Utah unless this number just gets out of control. Again, another very, very inconsistent team that I don't really want to back in a spot like this where I don't know how they put a whole lot of offense together. And they have kind of been struggling to do that a little bit. So it's just not really anything I'm interested in here. So
yeah, I'm basically at where Rob was at. Where he said in the chat here, this is basically where I'm at with this game. I saw the like minus 135s on Winnipeg, and I was like, I really like that. I'm going to hold off a little bit. Utah always takes money. I want to see if they take a little bit more here, and then I'll get an even better number on Winnipeg. I waited. Winnipeg got steamed and continue to get steamed, and now they're completely at a point where I'm just not going to bet them, which sucks because I really did like. Honestly, I don't like Utah. I've talked about this a bunch. I fade them. I have faded them a number of games lately. Winnipeg, I faded a little bit too. I'm really starting to come around on them though. This almost reminds me of like a little bit of a Vancouver situation last year where like they maybe weren't nearly as good as their record was in the first half of the season. But like Vancouver then in that found their game and started to play up to their record. And this is exactly what Winnipeg's doing right now because they're playing really, really good hockey again. They're suffocating teams. They're giving up very little in front of Hellebuck, which is very dangerous because when you are able to generate, how are you then going to beat Hellebuck? It's tough. And their offense is really rolling. Like they're scoring a lot of goals. They're generating a lot. And honestly, so is Utah. Like Utah's offense, that's the one thing they are doing is they're generating a lot of chances, but they're also giving up a ton, which like honestly makes me really want to get onto an over here, especially now where the numbers got to. But it's just I can't do it with Hellebuck. I literally can't do it with Hellebuck in that defense. Like I just can't. Hellebuck, even Hellebuck Vejmelka, like it's just not a goaltending matchup that I want to. I don't think Utah game should be 5.5 right now. I really do not think that they deserve to be there. But like Winnipeg so badly needs to be at 5.5, especially with Hellebuck in net. That I just that Utah itself as their opponent tonight is not enough to get me on this over. So I'm going to sit this one out. Hopefully, Comrie was in net on Saturday. He won't be in net today. I bet that. I bet the Flames on Saturday once we got the Comrie. It was cool because actually I don't know how like religiously people follow goaltending news and stuff, but I was sitting on screen waiting for goaltending news Saturday, and then we got a Hellebuck doing his likely starter routine, whatever, and it sounded like he was going to start. Market reacted a little bit, and then 2 minutes later, it was like, oh, actually, Hellebuck's not in the starter's net, and Comrie's the first guy off, so it sounds like he's going to start. And I think there was a little confusion because the market took a little bit of time to react. Was able to get some really good Flames prices there, which went well, obviously. Normally you get some great numbers and they don't, so that was nice. But yeah, anyways, long way of saying we will not get Comrie tonight. This is going to be a Hellebuck game. Last game.
Sorry,
okay,
just to
go for it. No, go for it.
Like I think kind of with the point of Utah generating some offense, like to me, that hasn't been a consistent thing. It was just kind of like, if you look back, it really is like two of those games that are kind of carrying those numbers, where I think a little earlier on, like around holiday time, a little before that, they were. The last 7 or 8 games, like I'm just not there on Utah's offense as of late. So I'm definitely not as close to this over, but that's also part of why I don't like Utah. Is I do think that the market sees something kind of with them offensively that maybe I'm missing and just totally wrong on, but like they put up like 5 expected goals in like 2 of these different games lately, but the rest of the games is like 1, 2, 1.5, 1.75. So it's like I don't trust Utah to generate enough offense. And then obviously Hellebuck, like I'm just not looking for any reason to take it over when he's in net at all, unless I think I'm getting an egregious number and a team that I think can score against him. Utah's not that team, I don't think.
Yeah. Okay. Last game. of a busy Monday. I can't believe how many games we have today. That's like, it's nice
The
they're actually
holiday
spreading
effect.
things out. I can't stand, no, it's even just like last week, like 2 games Monday, 13 Tuesday, 2 games Wednesday, 13 Thursday. Like, what are we doing here? Like, spread them out a little bit, and then there's nothing on Friday when there's like no other sports going on, nothing to compete with. God, this league drives me nuts. Okay,
It's the
Kings,
holiday
Penguins.
effect today.
I guess so. Kings minus 198 on FanDuel, Penguins plus 155, total of 5.5. Juiced a little bit to the over minus 115. Yeah, this is your Penguins team apparently. You bet them on Friday. You go in Pens again.
Talk about getting a win that was not deserved. That would be a win that was not deserved.
Yes.
That is one that you take, you mark as a win, you move on, you don't really think about, but no, did not deserve that one. My Penguins. No, I think they're terrible. What is the number out here? 188. No, I think we're getting too high here. It is in the range of me actually for Kings or nothing, which I don't think we say very often on big favorites. Like, I still believe in them. The Penguins bet on Friday, and I even said it on the show, like, that was a Sabres number fade. Like, that was not me liking the Penguins. Like, I made that bet, and I had zero nice things to say about the Penguins. I think I let it off with the Penguins suck, but, which is always what you want to hear when you're betting on a team. I'm not going to give a Penguins suck, but we should be betting plus 160 here. Like, I think the fact that we were getting, what was it, plus 130 at Buffalo and now plus 160 here is pretty telling of just kind of how off I think that number actually was on Friday. The Penguins suck. Like, I know you agree with me here. Like, the Kings are really good. This game just like screams 4-1 Kings.
Yeah.
Maybe if this number comes down a little bit, I'd look to LA, but like, I don't really want to lay a minus 180 when we already have 4 or 5 other plays here. As far as the total, like, I don't, like, I'm kind of with you now. Like, I don't really want to lay these 5.5s at this point, kind of in the middle of the year. So lean Kings, lean under, probably going to end up with nothing unless we get some Pittsburgh money here, which I certainly don't expect.
So my thing here with this one is this, I'm still high on this Kings team, but this is a little bit of a tough spot. Like, I do trust them to bounce back. They didn't have the best road trip. Obviously lost 3 of the last 4. Their play has dipped a little bit over the last couple of weeks. I still fully buy into this team. Little like small regressions like this are normal. And obviously the schedule was a little bit tough there too. The Winnipeg game, the Edmonton game.
A little bit tough.
Well, I mean, Calgary, Seattle, like Vancouver right now isn't necessarily great. Like, yeah, but like there were some really tough games in there for sure. First game back off a long road trip though, like, don't necessarily, like, not the easiest spot for teams. I don't really want to do it here, especially with Kemper having gone 3 in a row. It's very possible they pivot here to Riddick, let Riddick start this game and then go back to Kemper for that big Florida game on Wednesday. So if it is Riddick and Ned or whoever we get, I could definitely be talked into an over. Still tough to bet these Kings overs with the way they are able to defend though, but that would be my lean, and that would probably be the only way I get involved in this game. We get a Riddick start, I will probably play over 5.5, around minus 115 or better. Just gonna have to wait and see, because there's no way we're gonna be able to get that confirmation on the show. We might not even get it until no, there'll be a morning skate for them, which will happen around like 1:30. So probably just have to wait for that. Until then, nothing for me to get involved here.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I'm definitely nowhere near the Kings overs. That one, you can kind of take that one yourself. Yeah, it is a pretty rough spot kind of for them. I agree with that. It's like, okay, you get done with, I mean, obviously West Coast team, a little bit easier, but like, okay, you get done with that little mini swing and now you got 3 days at home and then you go all the way back out east. So I do think that there may be some chances kind of even to fade them on that east trip. Like, that is a pretty tough stretch right there of just kind of back-to-back road trips across the country. So no, I do think that there will be a few chances to maybe get solid numbers on a few of these teams coming up, but it's not really what I'm interested in here.
Also looks like we're getting Mrazek tonight. Not that changes anything for us in that game, but yeah. Okay. I will recap the best bets in a sec. If people can A, like the stream, and B, send some goal scorers in the chat for us while we're recapping these best bets so that we can throw together a little MLK ATG parlay today. And then we'll get out of here. Best bets for tonight. Sharks plus 1.5 minus 119, courtesy of LAber. Wild Avs under 6 minus 101, courtesy of both of us. St. Louis Vegas under 6 minus 120, courtesy of both of us. Blue Jackets plus 145 half unit, courtesy of LAber, and Lightning minus 105, courtesy of myself. So 5 best bets today. One of them a half unit bet, the rest of them full 1 unit bets. Okay. Anytime goal scorer parlay. We got a couple here so far. One from Tim Kent Johnson. Let's see what the price is here.
I'm trying to help you out here.
Plus 380. 380. Really good number at FanDuel too.
Let's do it.
The rest of the market.
All right, the Jackets, lock it
in. We got a Svechnikov from Jordan, which I'm very likely down for, just given the matchup.
210.
Plus 210. Good number at FanDuel. Yeah, I'm in for Svech. If anyone else has any, send. I will try and find one here in the meantime. And if you want to do the same, do we hop on a Celebrini plus 270? Rest of the market's kind of shaded more closer to we got a Coil though in the chat too. So if we go Celebrini, we can't go Coil. Want to go Coil instead here? Coil plus 340. He's been playing well.
Yeah, I'm kind of indifferent on these two.
All right, let's go with the chat here. I'll defer to the chat here. We'll go with Coil.
Sounds good.
Kent Johnson, Svech, Coil. We need one more. If someone wants to send, or if we find one, let's see here. Who do you like? Do you have anyone?
Kind of looking at it now. What about the Leaf Killer tonight?
Who's
plus
the Leaf
410.
Killer? There's so many
Paul.
of them. Oh, Nick Paul.
Nick Paul plus 410.
What's Paul though on the third line?
Probably. That was kind of more of a let's stick it.
Oh no, he's second line with Sorelli and Hagel. All right.
Is he?
Let's do it. I'm down. Yeah.
Nick Paul, we're in.
Yeah. No, and Rob said it too, so there we go.
Nylander.
No. Can't do it.
Just
it's a good number.
So
though,
like
according to BetStamp Pro, that is quite a good number on Nylander.
So we send out the Saturday best bets every week, like always, and obviously we didn't send one out for Zach, but it's like, do we even need to ask him? Like, do we just continue to just like DM him on the side asking, or do we just put in Nylander anytime goal every day?
What a cash!
I was gonna say, or do we just put in Nylander anytime goal every single Saturday going forward in honor of Zach? Is that the new thing?
Yeah, maybe. Get him in trouble at his new gig by tagging him in our tweets still. Nylander scored that breakaway goal that almost broke me. When they tied the game, I knew it was done. Hudson was brutal on Saturday. That was probably the worst game I've seen him play all year. If that was actually something else, I kind of buried that one. Maybe didn't want to talk about that, but he was terrible.
I know we already did the Habs Rangers talk, and I'm sure I live under a rock not following Canadians goalies as closely as I could. Who the hell is this kid you guys had in net last night? Like, is he supposed to be good, or is this just some like?
So he was like I think a 3rd or 4th round pick. Played in Ohio State. He was good at Ohio State. Honestly, it's so hard to tell with goalies. Like, goalies are it's such a weird position where like you don't know all the time. Like, these guys are going to be good or not. 5th round pick, here he was. But yeah, I remember him at Ohio State.
Igor was only like a 4th round pick.
Yeah, I mean, he was good at Ohio State, especially in his first season. Has been like okay in the AHL, like some decent numbers. Has definitely had a much better start to this season in the AHL. He's been really good. Was solid as a rookie. Like, there's definitely something there. Is he gonna be this team's future starting goalie? I would bet a good amount of money that he is not. I think this is more of like he's got the on hand.
Is this like a Hamburglar type run right now that he's on? Yeah, this is like maybe a Hamburglar. I would liken it to, and maybe this is just because I'm so like in this market. I would liken this a bit more to like a James Reimer maybe situation where like Reimer came in Toronto at one point and like he took off when he started. He was really good, posting really good numbers in his first season, and obviously like Reimer
is not a great goalie. But like I think Dobish should definitely have a future in this league as like either a low end starter or like a 1B or like a high end backup type thing. Again, who knows with these guys though? Like I don't know what he turns into. There is right now like a goaltending controversy on Habs Twitter where people are like, you got to ride the hot hand and go with Dobish. Montembeault was terrible on Saturday. I get it. Montembeault was terrible on Saturday, and Dobish has been the better goalie of the two lately. There's no goaltending controversy. Like there's no goaltending. That's it. Like Montembeault should not be on Team Canada. I saw a lot of that like out there, people poking fun at him on Saturday. I agree. Like he probably should not be on Team Canada, especially when you look at what Blackwood and Thompson have done this year. But anyone who says that Blackwood should be on the team over Montembeault right now is also right now, sure, but like he was never going to get selected at the time. Like Blackwood had no strong body of work at that point. He was still this inconsistent goalie who was maybe like putting in some decent starts on, I don't know if that's like a big thing, but Rachel Dory did tweet that. And I think that she tweeted some really dumb shit this weekend and deserves to be called out for the stupid shit she tweeted out. Dobish has been good. I don't know that he's actually this good though. Just going to kind of wait and see like we have to do with all these goalies because very weird position.
No, I agree. It's funny because I was looking at the numbers from last night's game, and I think both of us watching that agree that was both goalies. I mean, Quick played great, I thought. Like Dobish played really well, I thought too. And it's funny, then you look at it and see that both goalies had a negative goal save above expected last night, which I was not expecting to see at all.
Because Dobish made some good saves, but like he also let in some really bad, like he let in some bad goals too. Like that first goal you can't really fault him on it. But
I mean, the second was right in the slot. It was a turnover.
The second was right in the slot, but he wasn't screened. He had a clean look at it. The Kreider one, there was no way he was saving that.
The Kreider one,
there was no way he was saving that either. Yeah.
So it's like which one do you really blame him? The worst one was
it was a weird bounce on the first one, but the way it went through him was like it just went through him. Like I don't know, it was a turnover and it was a bad bounce, but like you would like him to save that. But again, you're not gonna. I'm like that's like very much like oh my god, it looks like Jonas Johansson is gonna get the start for the Lightning in Toronto. Oh my god.
Oh boy.
Well, if you haven't bet them yet, honestly, Johansson's been okay, and I'm not going to pretend that this is like I'm okay with it at this price. Obviously, you're not at this price. This will take money. If you want to bet the Leafs, go bet them now. Probably if you're into CLV, because this will not close where it is right now. This is going to run considerably. This will probably close like Leafs minus 120, minus 125 ish. I would at that point. Personally, I would just wait and bet the Lightning at a better plus price later. Or if you want to get on an over now, this is probably a time to get on an over too. Which I'm probably the issue with hosting is that it makes it tough for me to do stuff in real time on screen. So do you have any thoughts on this Johansson start while I look into something here?
I mean, I leaned under to begin with. I don't really have interest in kind of the over at this point. Obviously, yeah, I mean, the number should move with him versus Vasi. It's not something I necessarily am going to get involved in at this point. I'm going to let it go. Yeah, I think you need more monitors.
I have more monitors. I have 3 screens going right now. I feel like I need to direct the show while I'm like, I can't talk. I'm very bad at multitasking and like talking and trying to do something. You know what I mean? But I'm in on the over here. So that's good.
No, I agree. I'm trying to do the same and click around, and it's just not. It's tough. We miss our buddies. Yeah, I mean the thing with Johansson, right, is like
you don't want to lock in an over, though, right? I know he's been better, but like just instinctively, just like based on where this number will close. Okay, we don't have to lock it in. It's not like a best bet or anything. I bet it because of the fact that if you want to get out of it later, you'll get out of it at a much better price if you need to. But just like naturally, the market's going to move now. So, so that I did bet it, but yeah, we don't have to lock it in as the best bet or anything. It's not like I love it. All right, so no changes to the best bets there. Let's recap the anytime goal parlay. I'm all over the place right now. Just an hour show for a 9-game slate. This is
pretty big slate.
We have gone off the rails. Okay, Kent Johnson, Andrei Svechnikov, Nick Paul, Charlie Coyle. $10 pays $34.81. There you go. There's your anytime goal scorer parlay. I'll recap the best bets again really quickly. Sharks plus 1.5, minus 119. Wild Avs under 6, minus 101. St. Louis, Vegas under 6, minus 120. Columbus plus 145, a half unit, and Lightning minus 105. That is going to close absolutely terribly now. Yeah, that's it.
Summed that up pretty well. So real quick, back to the little Habs Rangers thing. How does Quick end up last night with a negative goal saved above expected? Like he was awesome. He was awesome.
Yeah, so it's like awesome last night.
So this is one of those, like, yeah, the numbers help, but it's one where, like, if you only use these numbers to kind of say how you judge people and teams and goalies, like, I think you're going to miss it, because Quick was not a negative last night. Like, I was genuinely expecting to look at this and see, like, yeah, I was expecting to look at this and be like, oh, he saved like a goal and a half above expected last night or something along those lines. Like, he, especially in that third, like, he was incredible. If he, like, I thought if he even played an average,
trying to remember
game,
all
like,
the goals now. First goal, I mean, it was just a deflection, good tip in front by Gallagher. There's nothing you can do about that. Second goal was what was the second goal? The second goal was awful. That was, that was borderline an own goal. That was like a pass into the slot that somehow like took some weird bounces and went in.
Oh, was that the one where he robbed somebody and then the puck came?
That was the one that I had messaged you right before.
Deflected.
I said quick legacy game, and then like 30 seconds later that went in.
Yeah, you literally messaged quick legacy game, and on my screen 7 seconds later the puck goes in. I'm like,
yeah. So there was that.
That was the one that was basically a fastball turning into a changeup.
Third goal was the gift from Will Borgen to Suzuki in the slot, who
Borgen played so well.
Not much you can do about that. And the fourth goal was Slap, just driving the net, gets the rebound, and like, yeah, you can't blame him for those. And obviously overtime, like, you're not gonna blame him for that one either. So yeah, I guess I agree that that's maybe a little bit misleading there, because he made some very, very good saves. I think some of those though were like not even credited as shots, which I think hurt his numbers. Like some of those goal mouth scrambles where like the puck was like thrown towards the front of the net and like ricocheted off a shin pad and like was behind Quick and somehow cleared. I don't think he gets credit for that stuff, which is probably plays into this as well. Yeah, anyways, I think that's it. So that'll do it for today's edition of Edgework. Appreciate everyone who tuned in here today on YouTube, Twitter, wherever you get your podcasts. If you can take a second to hit subscribe, leave a comment, rate, review, all that fun stuff. Anything you can do to help us out, it does go a long way, and we would appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow morning, as always, at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. It will be myself, Matt LAber, and So Money, the three-man panel tomorrow. Until then, enjoy the games tonight, and good luck on your bets.